5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, 10 down to you. Well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, quickly, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, 10 down to you. Well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, quickly, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, 10 down to you. Well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, quickly, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
I ain't never giving up. Rocket.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 fouls and 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Ricky, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go, Verstappen.
Hello all and welcome into WHF Tier 1. You're joined by me, your host this evening, for some action here in Bahrain, and I am looking forward to this evening's action. We are following Gordon out of the pit lane, along with the Aston of Ty Clear in behind. But welcome one and all. I am WHFRO. Welcome into this lovely evening here in Bahrain. It'll be short qualifying followed by 29 laps here in round 5 of the calendar as things stand. Trixie still leads the standings, but it is going to be an exciting season. Unfortunately, we're missing Rio today. Rio was P5 in the championship and now missing a race. He's doing a 24-hour stream. He's probably done it by now. 24-hour stream for McMullen Cancer Support, so we wish Rio all the best with that. I'm not sure if he's finished his stream yet or not, but he is unfortunately missing today, probably in bed, the poor lad. But currently sits P5 in the championship behind Cookie, Nis, Star and Trixie. Trixie leads the standings by 20, or is that 19 points? The image I'm looking at is not in great quality, as we'll go on board with Gordon down into turn 1. And for all of the Tier 3 drivers, this is going to be great to watch because they can see some of the Tier 1 drivers strut their stuff and they will be setting the benchmark. Tier 3 is going to look and try and match these drivers, although, unfortunately, being Tier 3 myself, realistically will not be able to match them, but here we can try and get close as Gordon heads through the middle sector. And sees a McLaren of Echo just in his way. We're missing one McLaren from the lobby, which could be Cindy if Cindy can join. Cindy's still trying to get his Xbox to work for him. It just isn't allowing him to join invites. That's the only driver missing this evening. And Gordon heading through turn 11 followed by turn 12. And you know what, normally I don't do this, but for shits and giggles, we'll keep an eye on the telemetry. We'll have a look at ERS usage for all these drivers. Keep an eye on where they're burning the battery. We'll probably leave it out in the race, but for qualifying I just think it is interesting. And also, being a Tier 3 driver, we're using this as a bit of cheat notes. We're using some cheat notes here as Gordon set a 28.5, got Ty with a 30.5, Cookie invalid, the Red Bull driver will need to go again. Mahler does a 28.6. Who is next around on a lap? We'll follow TJ as he crosses the line. 2 cars ahead of him. Star into the 26s with a 26.8 to 8. TJ with a 27.8. Massive spread so far here at the start here. Who is going to be next round? We've got the Aston Martin, maybe have Ty going again, or might be Berlin this time. It will be Berlin, as Berlin now up to P3 at 28.2 for Berlin. And next around is Michael Louis, although he's invalid, so we'll need to go again. We've got an Alpine of Skifi reserving for today. Was leading the championship in Tier 2 until yesterday, when unfortunately he lost the lead due to having some wheel issues. So I'm hoping that Skifi today has his wheel issues under control and can put on a good performance here in his reserve appearance here in Tier 1 is Hitman up to P2 with a 27.0. We've got LWB coming in, I believe, or not quite sure. Stephen Beecham up to P5. As who else is actually on a lap? Might be Echo on a lap here. In behind an Aston Martin of Ty Clear. I wonder, is Ty gone again? Maybe Ty has gone again. We'll see. Does Ty improve on his run? He does improve, but stays P8. Echo up to P3 with a 27.2. As who else is on a lap? Cookie rounding the final corner currently is P4 in the championship. We've never seen him so low, and he goes quickest with a 26.420. Next to watch would be Trixie, maybe. Although he's not close to finishing a lap, so let's see who else is on one. We've got potentially Berlin, although I think Berlin's on an in-lap. We've got maybe Skeefy down in P15, yet set a lap. He's going to be the next driver around. As Rian says, ban controller players for real. Well, Rian, Wheel is definitely the most OP it's ever been on this game, so I think the fact that Cookie is as good as he is on pad is a bit insane. Because Whale has so much advantages on this game, and still somehow Cookie is able to find time. I don't know how he's able to do it. As Skeefy goes P10, Michael Louis goes P12, but will need to go again. That's not a representative lap time from the Cyber driver. As Kodamatic now currently P13. Tier 2 champion last season. And Kodamatic, who I believe in Vegas had a decent result last time out. Let me double check. I think it might have been one of his best results as he finishes as he crosses the line in P6 with a 28.1. And Kodamatic finished P5. Yes, his best finish in his WHF career so far. P5 for Haas. They would have been absolutely buzzing about it. Meanwhile, we have the Tier 2 Championship leader of DZ Racer reserving for Red Bull today. And where can DZ Racer go? Where can he put his hat? He goes P7 on the Tier 2 Championship leader. Just slightly ahead of last season's Tier 2 champion. So very close in pace here. DZ Racer, though, is very quick in qualifying. Can he emulate the same pace in the race as Trixie goes P2 with the 26.783? As Michael Louis next time around here. So, Noah, how DZ Racer is this rapid this season is quite simply he sweats the game more than everyone else. Me and DZ Racer got our wheels roughly at around the same time, pretty much like the same week, but I've seen him stream F125 a lot more often than me, as Michael Louis goes up to P7. And it's simple, you put the hours in and you get the rewards. DZ Racer is quick for a reason. He puts in the effort, and that is the reason why he is leading the Tier 2 Championship this season. Meanwhile, you've got me, who doesn't put in the effort, and I am languishing down in Tier 3. That's you put in the time, you get your rewards, and if you don't put in the time, you don't get your rewards. And Nis, big skate on the rear as he exits turn 4 and flat through this middle sector. If you take the right line, you can do it easily flat, and Nis did just that. As Nis, Trixie, Cookie look to be the drivers to watch here. Star also with a potential pole here in Bahrain, although Cookie yet again here looks to have the advantage. But last season Nis won ahead of Cookie after pulling a 1-stop. Cookie tried the 2-stop and was fighting with Nis for the last number of laps, but Nis was able to pull out the victory. So can Nis win again here this season? Has much changed since last season? Nis said before the start of the race that pole could be a 26-1. Can anyone get clear and get a 26-1? Nis with a 26-6 gets a 10th ahead of his teammate, but still behind Cookie. We've got LWB rounding the penultimate corners. He charges up to the line as Ollie's gone P7 as well, just ahead of TJ as LWB losing the rear as he's rounding the final corner and up to the line. Where can the debutant go? Does a 27.435. Signs for Ferrari, and on debut currently sits P7 with his first lap on the board. As Star now on a flyer. Can he get a mini tow here from the car ahead? Down the back straight as he's burning the battery. And into the final corner. I do believe that might be his Williams teammate of Mallard just up the road, but makes a mistake, I believe, out of the final corner. Yeah, got very late on the brakes and didn't get the right rotation he was looking for there as Hitman starting a lap. Who else do you have out there? Ollie's finished his lap with a yellow flag out. Just some drivers letting each other through. I think Mallard is on one. Ty will be probably the next to finish a lap in the Aston Martin. As I'll try and give Cindy another invite here to see can he get back in again. Let me ping him to see. Let me see, can Cindy get in so we can have 20 drivers on in the grid? As Ty improves to P15 there. We've got Stephen on a lap, although I do think it was Gordon next around. Gordon 4/10 of the good. Where can Gordon go in? The Cyber goes up to P14. I think we had Mallard next round, although Mallard is not on a push, as I think Trixie started a lap there. We've got a Mercedes crossing line of TJ to start a lap. Echo starting a lap. Stephen will be finishing a lap here. And where can Stephen go as he improves just by under a tenth? Gets up to P15 as Hitman improved by a tenth there. Will stay P5 as Mallard into the pit lane he goes as Cookie might be on a push here, although I think he has involved his attempt as Trixie attempt to the good through Sector 1. And I'm just trying to see, will we stay with Trixie or will we stay with Godzilla, who will be next around here. Tier 2 driver reserving in Tier 1 this evening. And up to the line and 6/10 off Mallard as things stand, as we've got Ty trying to give Berlin a tow here. We'll see, can Berlin benefit from this, but I think they're both on in laps as Trixie had to avoid a Cyber there. Hopefully the Cyber did get out of the way in good time. As has the stream died? Oh no, it says it's live. I don't know, I'm a bit confused. Never mind. It said it was offline on my other screen and I was like, it doesn't look like the stream has stopped streaming. But Trixie now up to the line, does improve by 3/10, still shy of Cookie's time. But a massive improvement there by Trixie. TJ improves by almost 3/10, gets to P8. We've got Hitman on an in lap. We've got Steven on an in lap. Godzilla on an in. DZ Racer following Cookie, who he may give him a tow there. Cookie, though, 2/10 of the good. Exiting Sector 2 is a lot of battery to use for the remainder of the lap. Can Cookie be one of the drivers to try and get a 26-1 here as he rounds the final corner? And now the Red Bull driver, foot to the floor to the final corner and charges to the line. Where can the Red Bull driver go as he's up to the line now? And that's a 26-0-3-0. We're almost in the 25s. And Cookie just shy. As Cindy finally in. You love to see it. Cindy might be able to grab the car and get a lap in. As Skeefy has retired in the pit lane. He's happy starting P16. Doesn't believe he's going to improve on this lap time. But Cookie with a 26-0. That is the time to beat. As TJ, I believe, on an in lap. We've got DZ Racer currently down in P12. As DZ Racer now through Sector 2, goes a bit wide of the apex of turn 11. And this is possibly going to be his last attempt unless he goes in immediately here. And And running a little wide out of turn 13, but can he improve here? As he's currently got a 28-0. And can DZ Racer have a sneak? Oh, he's got a big spin through the final corner. And hopefully can get back in the box again. As his teammate will go out just in front of him, I believe. And DZ Racer might have time to get in and out again, but I think he might be out of time. It's going to take a while. I think Cookie definitely won't get out in time, because Cookie will be stuck behind DZ Racer. And Cindy has finally got in. Hopefully he can pick his setup and get out there. And Cindy has. Cindy will get an attempt. Lovely to see a full grid here in Tier 1. As we've got 2 minutes left in the session. And who will be on pole here? Cookie, 4/10 clear of Trixie. And Cookie, who won in dominant fashion last time out. Oh, okay, controller. Cookie won last time out in Las Vegas in dominant fashion. Can he emulate that once again here in Bahrain? Or will Trixie, Nis, Star, Hitman all keep him keen? Hitman's been a terrific signing for Haas here in P5. Got a 26.9 out there. One of the only 5 drivers in the 26s as it stands. We've got Berlin on a lap here. And Berlin will be the first to complete their final lap on the drivers who are currently on one. And DZ Racer has not got out in time to complete his lap. So that's the Red Bulls done for today, as Berlin washing out wide to the curb as he's trying to navigate Sector 1 here. And can Berlin improve here? Currently he's got a 28-0. And funny how the field spread is here in Tier 1. He's 2 seconds back from Cookie. The gap in Tier 1 up at the front is massive, and Berlin now ahead of the Williams, who I believe is yet to start a lap. Berlin had to make a little correction mid-corner through turn 13, had to steer out of the corner just to make sure that he kept it valid, as he's now rounding the final corner. The Mercedes had to get out of his way, but now the Mercedes will be on a run, and Berlin going to come in. No improvement there for Berlin as TJ next to start lap. We'll keep an eye on who is next around. I think Cookie DZ Racer has gone out and out lap, but does he have enough time? He might actually make it. Will he make it? Please make it. Oh, it's going to be so close. I don't think he's going to do it. Oh, just behind the line. As Ty Clear will be the next driver around, goes to P16. We've got Cindy, although that's actually Echo, finishes his lap, improves by 2.5 tenths, goes to P6. LWB on debut, crossing the line. He goes to P6, 600ths ahead of Echo. Brilliant for the Ferrari debutant here, as we've got Michael Louis, who will be next around the final corner, though he's very much down on his delta, so will not improve. Hitman invalid. Next it should be Gordon, who's 2 tenths to the good here. Could push him up a couple places, maybe even close to his teammate Michael Louis, if he can gain a little bit extra time out of the final corner here. And up to the line, he does get ahead of his teammate Michael Louis. Into P10 goes Gordon as Trixie invalid, but Nis to the line. Where can Nis go? Does improve ahead of Trixie, but does not get pole position, as we've got Cindy into P16. A couple drivers crossing the line there. We've got the Mercedes pair of Ollie and TJ up to the line. Ollie improves by a tenth. TJ up to the line does improve by 1500ths. Star invalid, so that is going to be order. Cookie on pole by 4/10 of a second. Next it's Nis, followed by Trixie, then it's Star, then it's Hitman, followed by LWB and Echo. And oh, I've just remembered. Please, why is the mouse not turning on now when I need it? Oh, it's not worked at all. Yeah, it's not going to record, unfortunately, the qualifying session because I forgot to open the app prior. But here, you live and you learn. But there you have it. Cookie on pole, ahead of Nis, Trixie, Star, Hitman, LWB, Echo, TJ, Ollie and Gordon is your top 10. And I would talk more about the bottom 10 if it'll let me. Michael, Cody, Berlin, DZ Racer, Mallard, Cindy, Beecham, Ty, Skeefy, and Codzilla. As hopefully we get no early ready-ups as we're here in dusk in Bahrain. Who will come out the victor here today? Currently Cookie on pole, but again, for many times this season, has two V-carbs in behind him who have been very punchy all year. Trixie leads the championship for a very good reason. And Cookie even mentioned in the chat that he's going to need to sweat the rest of the season if he wants to win his 7th title here in WHF. Could Trixie win his first? We're only here in round 5, so there's still a lot to play for. Still a lot of drivers who could win the title. But who will it be? We are yet to find out, but great to see some debutantes today. It will be LWB's debut and Cindy's as well in the McLaren for this evening. Only had one attempt in qualifying, and Cindy still did very well to get a lap on the board. But get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think's going to win this one? You've got a good opportunity now to get some tea or water or a croissant, whatever tickles your fancy, a bit of crisps, you know, whatever you want, snack before the race. And we will get ready for 29 laps around the Sakir circuit here in Bahrain. And who will win? Qualifying would tell us that it could be Cookie, but last season it seemed like Cookie may have the one in the bag, but Nis pulled out the victory, so we could see that happen again. Nis unable to win so far this season, although last season he had 5 wins, so could Nis finally pick up his first win this season, starting on the front row of the grid beside his rival in the Red Bull? And Trixie in P3 also wants to get another win this season. Star, who won in Baku, also going to be punchy here. The top 4 definitely going to be punchy. Could Hitman in the Haas in P5 sneak his way in? Could it be LWB in the Ferrari or Echo in P7 in the McLaren? As we will have the 5 red lights on here in Bahrain for round 5. And it's lights out and away we go as Cookie going to try and drag into turn 1. Nis going to try and get down the inside. Cookie's gone very defensive off the start as Nis round the outside again on the soft tyres, going to try and find his way through. Cookie stays ahead, goes deep though. Trixie, a little bit of contact with his teammate as Star going to try and sneak his way through. Hitman on the outside, going to try and get round the outside of the Williamses. Nis back down the rear of Cookie, switches to the inside, dives it on the inside of turn 4, and as he caught Cookie napping, Nis going to try and get through. Side by side he goes with the Red Bull driver, very punchy, and Nis on the soft tyres gets through into the lead here off the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix as LWB in the background getting up to P6. Able to defend his position there as Gordon up to P7. We've had a lot of movements off the start here. Beecham down the order, down to P20. The Ferrari dropping down as, on the inside, TJ pokes his nose in on Gordon and into the rear. As now we've got Echo and Cindy now up to P10. Brilliant debut for Cindy, who's going to try and make a charge here. And what a start it's been for Cindy. We'll have a quick look at the position changes. Up 6 positions on debut. Absolutely beautiful start here. As in the background we've got Berlin right on the rear of Kodamatic. Side by side they go and Cody goes deep. As we'll get the tyre graphic up. But Berlin getting ahead of Cody there as Echo now on the rear of TJ. And Echo's got a very poor start on these hard tyres. And a very mixed strategy. Probably the most mixed strategies we've seen all season. Lots of drivers doing the softs. It's Nis, Hitman and Stephen Beecham on the softs. Got a couple of drivers on the hards and a couple on the mediums. What strategy will be the best? I can't quite tell. Either way, Nis has got a brilliant start. 7-10 he leads Cookie as DZ Racers retired in the pit lane already. Okay, that's a bit early. I mean, safety cars can happen, you know, but AO as Echo right on the rear of TJ. And Echo putting pressure on the Mercedes driver today, as Ollie has dropped down to P17 as well. Ollie's had a nightmare start. Michael Louis down to P18. Couple drivers here with very unideal starts at the moment. Nis almost dropping Cookie out of DRS. Does Cookie have the DRS open? He just about has it, and this is how close and crucial it is now. Cookie's got to get a move on, otherwise Nis could break DRS here on the soft tyres. The DRS may have gained him a 10th back, but now he needs to push a little bit just to stay with Nis, who must be pushing flat out here to try and break DRS now. But I think Cookie has enough in the tank on these medium tyres, and now he may start to come towards the V-Carb driver once again here. Nis took the lead on the opening lap. And can Cookie get back ahead? The mediums will surely come into stride very quickly. The softs are a terrible tyre on this game in general, as Cookie now charging down the outside of Nis into turn 1. And can he outbrake the V-Carb drivers? There's a little bit of contact through turn 1. Cookie now pushes nose through turn 2 as Nis keeps it there. And Nis keeps ahead with the DRS. And these two continue their squabbles and battles that we've seen all last season, as well as Mallard battles with Kodamatic. Kodamatic dropping down a couple positions here, as in the foreground Cindy and Berlin battling. Berlin round the outside keeps it ahead of Cindy, as Cindy tried to hold on to P10 there, and the Aston Martin driver up to P10 as he's going to try and chase after TJ. But very much how we thought it would be. The top 5 very strong to start here, but also LWB and Gordon doing well to stay inside DRS range as well. And Echo seems to be the driver who's dropped out of the DRS range. The hard tyres haven't fired up quite just yet, as Star on the rear of Trixie. But unable to really get the move. They're all stuck in this DRS train. It's going to be Nis and Cookie battling for position. And Cookie this time might have a DRS open, and he's got ahead very early down the straight and should have this move comfortably into turn 1. Nis not going fully at lunge. Nis going to try and manage the battery to try and get back ahead of Cookie, but how well will these soft tyres work for Nis? Surprised to really see anyone on the softs. Nis did get the lead off the start, but he's lost it. Here's Ollie battling with Skeefy. Ollie gets through on Skeefy. As LWB on the rear of Hitman. And it seems Hitman's soft tyres now overheating as well. Nis's soft tyres may be overheating too. It's only lap 4. And they may already be struggling. Was the soft tyres the wrong move? It seems like for Hitman and Nis, they're already struggling. As in the background, Trixie leaves the track. And it seems a lot of drivers struggling behind the Red Bull, who's leading the field at the moment. Star going to try and put pressure on Trixie in the background. Hitman's lost DRS. LWB now on his debut may have potential to get ahead of the Haas, as Rian, who's a V-Carb driver in Tier 3, says trust the process. And I must say I'm not trusting the process. It kind of looks like Cookie has this one in the bag again. I mean, I don't really know where the softs come into play. I mean, if he is committing to the 2-stop, he's got to really use some pace, and he is committing to the 2-stop because Nis into the pit lane now already here on lap 4. And as we start lap 5, we've now got Star on the rear of Trixie. Trixie going to defend into turn 1. But they've both now lost touching distance from Cookie, so Cookie, no matter what strategy he does, he'll be coasting to the end. As TJ on the rear of Echo goes a bit deep. Burling goes very deep, as it seems everyone kind of going deep, as Star's actually got ahead of Trixie at turn 4. And good move there from Star as he's trying to work his way up to the rear of Cookie. And Star in the Williams trying to pick up another podium this season. He's had a very strong start to this season. It seems every qualifying session he's starting behind the V-Carbs. And just like in Vegas, despite him starting behind them, he always puts them under a lot of pressure. And back again here, Star putting the V-Carbs under pressure, has got ahead of Trixie. And Trixie going to look to try and get back ahead. Hitman is glad these two are battling because it's helped Hitman get back inside DRS range and extend these softs a little bit. But if I was him, I would maybe go as late as lap 7 and definitely pit 2-stop. Nis has gone a very early 2-stop. And Nis now on the rear of Stephen Beecham as well. As heavy lifting coast. Extremely heavy lifting coast. That's maybe he's running very low on fuel. Yeah, this is. I'm hearing really big lifting coasts. But we'll move back on with Trixie, who's on the rear of Star, unable to get ahead. But maybe out of turn 3, can he pressure the rear of the Williams driver? Williams going to stay ahead here, as down in the background we've got Nis ahead of Stephen, but surprising to see him lifting and coast so much at the start of this race, but maybe running really low on fuel. We'll see how it works for him as the controller turns off again. You'll love to see it as Star now 3 seconds off Cookie. Hitman, I'm pretty sure, is glad he's still in this train because it's really helping him manage the soft tyres, although he surely has to commit to a 2-stop, you would think. Because the hards are strong around here, but he would need to go to around probably lap 10 in order to make it work. But we'll wait and see. And LWB gonna put pressure on the Haas driver. And the Ferrari looking to make a move into P4 here. With Trixie also on the rear of Star. As there's a yellow flag around. Is it Berlin? It's Berlin. Down and around. What has happened, Berlin, here? As Berlin spins, we got Trixie on the rear of Star, back in to P2. LWB now gets ahead of Hitman. As we see a lovely... see the sign blocking that move. Really great camera work there. As LWB now going to try and get ahead as Kodamatic back through on Mallard. As Mallard into the rear of Kodamatic, and damage for the Williams driver. And that'll be heartbreaking for Mallard. He's going to try and want to extend these mediums a bit longer if he can. But that damage is definitely going to frustrate the Williams drivers around the outside. He's going to try and send it on Kodamatic. He's not going to have the front end though with that damage, but can he still sneak his way through as Cindy picks up a 10-second spin in the pit lane penalty, and Cindy retires as Cody and Mallard battle again here as Cody on the rear of Mallard, and oh, what is this? Just trying to barge his way through down the hill, and Cody does get through there. And Mallard now through turn 10. Gonna try and find the exit out of turn 10, but these two probably battling too much. And not really helping either's race here, as Mallard right on the rear of the Haas driver as we head through turn 11. But battling hammer and tong here. Meanwhile, in the background, LWB's dropped off the rear of Star. Star still on the rear of Trixie, as they are looking to one-stop. How effective will the one-stop be? Nis, currently P15. We're tracking his run as Star going to get back ahead of Trixie. Trixie pulling to the inside as Hitman's got a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. And I think we've already had 3 to start this race, potentially. Or it might just be 2. I'm not sure if DZ Racer also had 1. As Nis gets ahead of Godzilla, but not at the probably most... Not at the greatest point, but Godzilla not really challenging Nis at this stage. So Nis will stay ahead. Meanwhile, we've got Ollie on the rear tie. I'm going to blow by the Aston Martin. Can he break later into turn 4? Yes, lovely move from Ollie. Ty going to look for the switchback as Mallard up ahead. As a big tank slapper. As Trixie right on the rear of Star. And sniffing the rear. As Hitman's come in, it's allowed LWB some fresh air. As LWB going to try and charge after this pair who continue to battle. Gordon's dropped off the rear of LWB. Echo in P6. He's going to look to try and get back on the rear of Gordon. Has his hards finally hit their stride here on lap 8? Can he get back inside DRS range of Gordon? Meanwhile, Ollie going to look to get through his former teammate Mallard. As the, I'm just going to put the controller down and use my keyboard for future, just so it just stops turning off, really. As Hitman through on Stephen Beecham, who's still out there on the soft tyres. Surprised to see him start on the soft tyres, but either way, as Star battles with Trixie. And Trixie stays ahead. And when will the pit stop phase start for these drivers? I would go to lap 12 before coming in. As Ty in probably very early. Ollie through on Mallard, who is carrying that damage. Ollie going to try and get back ahead here. Or Mallard going to try and get back ahead on Ollie. Despite carrying damage, Mallard got a good exit there out of turn 1, but Ollie gets a better exit out of turn 3 and is able to stick ahead of the Williams driver. Meanwhile, a bit further down the order, Hitman on the outside of Berlin. And Hitman, who did get the 10-second spin in the pit lane penalty, he is possibly one-stopping, but he's going to have to stretch these hards very far if he does want a one-stop. And he also has that 10-second time penalty that he'll want rid of as well. So we will certainly keep an eye on that. But here on lap 9, Cookie has definitely checked out Nis. We're going to keep an eye on his progress. He's currently P12 now, has Skeefy up ahead of him. P2 in the Tier 2 Championship is Skeefy. And now has P3 in the Tier 1 Championship for company. Or isn't this P2? Let me double check that. I think he is P3. But some more lift and coast. Gordon in quite early, lap 10. Gordon's in. Oh, and this big snap of the rear. He is P3 in the standings. Snap of the rear. Out of the final corner, but able to hold it together. Gets ahead of Skeefy. But is Nis making the progress that he wants to be? I'm not quite sure. Gordon, as Berlin picks up a 10-second speed in the pit lane penalty. So many drivers getting speeding in the pit lane penalties here. It's shocking to see. This many already. It's at least 3 already. As Stephen onto the medium, so he's going to look to two-stop as Nis on the inside. And that's a move that you don't really expect, but he's caught Mallard unawares, and Nis gets through the middle sector. As Mallard spinning up the rears just doesn't have the grip that he wants out of these medium tyres, especially with the damage that he's carrying. It's not helping his run at all here. And now Skeefy will be next to look for a move on Mallard, who I'm sure Mallard will go in lap 11 or lap 12, get his front wing fixed potentially. Hopefully he does, so they can actually use some grip that he will have on the hards. Otherwise it'll just keep adding pressure. As Star going to come in and Trixie stays out, so Star gone for the undercut here to try and get ahead of Trixie. Meanwhile, Cookie looks like he could go to lap 14 before coming in. If I were Cookie, I would leave it quite late because Nis will have to box again. Ollie is going to come in, and Nis is now... Oh, he's flapping his DRS wing as he heads down the main straight. In the background, we've got a Haas of Hitman through on Codzilla. As Skeefy ahead of Mallard as well through turn 1. And Hitman ahead of Codzilla, who's still yet to box in this race. LWB has exited just behind as Mallard and Skeefy battle over P7 here, still side by side. And who can hold it together? Skeefy round the outside, gets it round the outside, and Mallard, unfortunately, just does not have the front end that he would like. That damage after contact with Kodomatic has cost him dearly here. As Ty on the rear of Ollie, but Ollie going to keep ahead on those fresher hard tyres. Mallard back on the rear of Skeefy, going to try and get a move here, but doesn't appear to be on. As LWB on the rear of Codzilla. Codzilla just letting drivers through at this point. Doesn't want to get in the way of their race, it seems. And LWB is on 3 lap fresher tyres than Hitman. So Hitman, who looked like he might have P5 potential in the cards because he started on the softs, That could cost him dearly here as Nis now on the rear of Kodomatic. He's playing it safe, wants to wait for DRS range. And now Nis can get ahead with DRS. And now up to P5. But is the two-stop going to be effective? I'm not quite sure. We'll wait and see. Last season, Cookie tried the two-stop. It didn't work as Godzilla retires in the pit lane. He's done for the day. As Hitman on the rear of Mallard and off in the gravel. And seemed to lose control there entirely after hitting the rear of Mallard. As Hitman now going to try and put pressure on Mallard, who's still holding on. Is Hitman going to dive it on the inside here and gets ahead of Mallard. Mallard looking for the switchback. Is Trixie going to try and get involved here in this battle as well? Oh, and Trixie leaves the track as Mallard filters in behind Hitman. But can Trixie now get ahead of Mallard? This DRS train going to hurt the V-Carb drivers. I think this is where Cookie's going to benefit mostly, is that Nis and Trixie have lost a lot of time battling with drivers trying to get back through the midfield. As Trixie all over the rear of Mallard. And going to look for a send, and yes, he does get through here. Turn 13 as he loses the rear, and Cookie finally comes into the to the hard tyres. As Trixie going to try and get back inside DRS range from the cars ahead. Mallard should probably come in this lap and hopefully get his front wing fixed so he can be a bit more racy. As Sci-Fi losing out to Hitman. Sci-Fi yet to box in this race. Cookie going to exit just alongside Kodomatic. Nis has got out ahead of him, but importantly, Cookie's exited ahead of Star and Trixie. As Cookie going to get ahead of Kodomatic there. As Trixie in the background on the outside of Ski-Fee. Is LWB going to try and follow his way through? And can LWB get round the outside of Ski-Fee? Still side by side goes LWB and Ski-Fee. And Ski-Fee just lets him through. And LWB now, with the undercut, has actually got inside DRS range from Trixie. So this undercut has really helped LWB here. And could be potentially on the march for a debut podium. If he can stick with Trixie here, it could be on the cards here. They're both going to look to catch Star, who did box a lap earlier than Trixie, so will that play a factor by the end of the race? We will wait and see. Meanwhile, Gordon going to try and get through on Ski-Fee as well. We've got Hitman trying to catch the rear of Star. As Cookie almost on the rear of Nis already, and Nis is going to be two-stopping. He's got to try and hold up Cookie or something. I'm not quite sure what the thought was with the strategy. But I guess we'll wait and see. Lap 14 has started. Echo and TJ staying out a bit longer. And here's the thing though, if a safety car were to come out right about now, and Nis had another set of hard tyres to go to as Gordon gets through on Ski-Fee. And Gordon up to P10 as he's going to look to try and catch LWB, but LWB on a lap fresher hards. And as DRS from Trixie ahead, Gordon might not be able to catch. But we will go back on board with Cookie, who can see one of his championship rivals ahead of Nis. And a win here for Cookie could be big, because he'll start to close to Trixie, who leads the championship, and Star as well. But can now be the chance. Will TJ play a factor in this race? If Nis can get inside DRS range from TJ, it could change a lot here. Star around the outside of Kodomatic. Oh, a little bit of contact between Cody and Star. Star gets round the outside, and now it's a Haas 6. Actually, I'm not going to finish that sentence. You know where they are on track anyway. As Cody pulls over to one side, lets Hitman through. And now Trixie gonna filter in behind Kodomatic. Can Trixie get ahead of Cody out of the final corner? As DRS opened, Nis does get ahead of TJ into turn 1. Oh, and Cookie on the rear of TJ as well. Looking for the move. Is Cookie going to look around the outside? TJ going to keep it ahead as Cookie stuck behind the Mercedes for another corner here. As the Mercedes going to go defensive again. Cookie may look for this end into turn 4. Dive bomb on the Mercedes and gets ahead of TJ. As in the background, got TJ or Trixie on the inside of Cody, and Trixie gets through. LWB losing the rear and behind as he sees the rear of Kodamatic just ahead as well. Cody yet to box in this race, so LWB has got to get ahead as soon as possible, as he's stuck behind Kodamatic, who's struggling for traction on these much older hards. But LWB being patient here and may get the exit at turn 10, but can Kodamatic keep it ahead? As Cody, loses the rear massively. Losing the rear massively. There's actually damage on the front end of Kodamatic's car. Not quite sure when he picked that up, but able to hold on to it. Meanwhile, Cookie now has another chance to get ahead of Nis now. Trixie up to P7 will lock on the rear of Hitman and try and slingshot onto the rear of Star. Meanwhile, the battle for net P1 is here. And Nis, who's trying the 2-stop, we're going to try and defend from Cookie, but Cookie on the much fresher hard tyres, surely it's going to be a slam dunk move as he tries to go to the inside there. Very dramatic overtake attempt there. Had to back out of it because Nis was definitely going to the inside there, as Hitman on the rear of Trixie. And Trixie gets ahead into P6 now. I can see Star next up the road, and Trixie going to look for P2. Potentially, it looks like Cookie is the favourite here. I mean, I don't know how effective the 2-stop's really going to be. Unless Nis has paid someone on the grid to pull a crash gate, I can't really imagine the 2-stop's going to be this effective. And I think the podium actually probably will be Star, Trixie and Cookie. I mean, I think Nis has probably thrown away a P2 here with his strategy, but you never know. Nis could fight his way back through again on this 2-stop, and it could be very fast. He could win, you never know. I mean, but I just don't feel like the Bahrain's really the track for the 2-stop, but you never know. Who knows? Who knows? But Nis out of DRS range from Cookie already. And the real question is, when will Nis come in for his second stop, and how much can he gain through that second pit stop? Echo's come in probably a bit early off the hards. Probably the earliest you want to go as Star on the outside of TJ. In the background, we've got Trixie also looking on the rear as it's swapped to the wrong bloody driver. Oh my god. Anywho, Trixie does get ahead of TJ. It's swapped to a driver in the pit lane as we were trying to see that overtake. Lovely to see. Meanwhile, Hitman with a dive bomb on TJ. TJ leaves the room for the Haas driver. And the camera angles are just a bit terrible, to say the least. But Hitman does get ahead, as Ollie picks up his first 3-second time penalty of the day. Trixie now in the rear of Star, and this is the issue whenever you do pull the undercut. Now he's going to deal with the lap older hards for the remainder of the race. And will it be effective or not? Not quite sure. Either way, they should probably pull a gap to Hitman, who's got much older hards. Got TJ yet to box in this race, as LWB, his goal for this evening is going to try and get ahead of Hitman here, who does have a 10-second time penalty, as Echo ahead of Ski Fee. And Echo's had a pretty quiet race so far, but exits in P9 on the fresh medium tyres. They will be struggling by the end of the race, but he will get a solid medium stint out of these tyres. But where can Echo get up to as Cookie picks up a 3-second time penalty as Nis comes into the pit lane. LWB now on the rear of TJ, going to get ahead of the Mercedes driver. But that's an interesting question to ask. Now that Cookie has that 3-second time penalty, that could play a big factor. If there's a safety car now, Cookie could really start to sweat, because if they finish inside the penalty range, he could lose a multitude of positions. The Skeefy now into the pit lane for medium tyres. Nis 5 seconds back from Echo on his pit stop. I don't even know if he'll have a sniff at the podium by the end here. I mean, 11 laps to go. Let me have a look at the gap to the leader here. He's 24 seconds behind. He's got to catch 18 seconds to get to Star, who he would have already been ahead of if he started the race on mediums and did a medium hard. So, I'm not quite sure. Can he catch 20 seconds in 11 laps? That's going to be an impressive stint for Nis if he pulls it off. And may even get a Driver of the Day trophy to do it if he can pull it off. But we'll keep an eye. Meanwhile, Trixie dropping a little bit back from Star, but if I were Trixie, I wouldn't be too worried. He still has the lap pressure hards to use. And he's just going to manage his battery until the end, because these two will battle to the end, surely. As Star will try and escape DRS range. TJ finally comes in to the pit lane, and I think TJ, that's probably the perfect time to come off the hard tyres. 10 laps on the medium to the end is probably the perfect stint to do if you're doing a hard medium. And we'll keep an eye on TJ on his reverse strategy. He may exit just behind his Mercedes teammate of Ollie, maybe even in a battle with Ty Clear and Coda Matic, as we'll go on board with them. As TJ just exits the boxes, Cody gonna look for a move into turn 1. Ty on the outside, gonna keep it out of Cody. And Cody gonna try and get back through again. Two Tier 2 champions battle for position here. And Cody, will he win this battle on the fresh mediums? Yes, he will. Is carrying some damage though, is Cody, as Ty gets around the outside. Going to try and stick it in here, but Cody gonna stay ahead. And Cody now into P11. As Trixie now much closer to the rear of Star here on lap 19. And as we talk about Nis, he hasn't really gained any time on Echo in a lap. Echo now on the rear of Gordon and may look for a move into turn 1. If he can get a good exit to the final corner, meaning we've got Trixie on the rear of Star again. And we may get a dive bomb into turn 1. Trixie gonna look for the move on the outside, and he dives it to the inside on Star. And Star, oh, can he keep it around the outside? Yes, he does. Trixie all over the rear of the Williams driver, unable to get ahead. As Echo now on the inside of Gordon. Trixie back down the inside of turn 4, unable to get ahead. Gordon gonna try and get back ahead of Echo, but much older hards. Can he do anything here? Is Gordon going to switch to the inside of turn 4? Side by side goes Echo and Gordon. Echo has the greater grip on the outside here. And on these fresher mediums, Echo gets up into P6. Echo's having a terrific race out there. Struggled at the start on the hards, but now he's finding his groove and may start to catch LWB as TJ gets ahead of Ollie. And Ollie letting through his teammate for this evening. As TJ picks up a time penalty, and that's possibly a silly penalty to get. But he has 11 seconds to get caught to the car ahead, so all TJ really has to worry about is the cars behind. If he can pull a gap to Kodamatic, TJ should stay P9. Meanwhile, back on the rear, it's Trixie and Star once again here. The battle for P2 lingers on. It looks like Cookie has the one in the bag here on lap 20. Meanwhile, Nis isn't really gaining a whole lot. He's gained, I think, nothing on Echo as in the background. I think that might be Hitman in. As Trixie now into turn 1 on the outside, gets through on Star. Star doesn't fight it too hard. But LWB on debut, getting a big shout out here into P4. And could stay P4 by the end here, although he has a charging McLaren on the rear looking to take that off him. But regardless, a terrific performance for the Ferrari so far in this race. And a brilliant debut. But here in lap 21, what is still to happen here as... Oh, there's a battle there. As we, for some reason, went in the pit lane as Berlin gets a 3-second time penalty as he battles with Skiffy. And Skiffy gets ahead now as he'll be on the rear of Mallard, who's still carrying the damage. And very unfortunate for Mallard's race, this damage could cost him some key positions here. Especially with the charge and Skiffy in behind. As Star continues to follow Trixie. And will they look to swap again here on lap 22? Just constantly swapping. We're keeping an eye on Ness, and Ness doesn't seem to really be catching Echo as much as he would like, as around the outside Star going to try and keep it. Trixie side by side with the Williams driver side by side. They go through turn 2 and through turn 3. Trixie gets back ahead, has the DRS as well to try and keep it ahead here. Star back on to recharging the batteries. Gordon comes in here, and I think the reason Gordon's come in is because he knows he's got a big gap big gap behind, so he may come into some clear air behind the Haas of Hitman. Although the thing is, Hitman's on a lap as Berlin's got another 10 seconds speeding the pit lane penalty, and Berlin retires from the session as Hitman on the rear of Gordon. Is Gordon going to try and get these mediums warmed up? Mallard on the rear of Skiffy, and into turn 4. Can Mallard get ahead? Side by side they go, and Mallard on the inside of Skiffy, round the outside. Can the Alpine keep it? And still side by side, and through the right hander. Just Mallard doesn't have the front end grip that he would like. May go for another send. Here's a little look on the inside, locking the fronts, trying to get onto the rear of the Alpine, but this damage, unfortunately for Mallard, is costing him big in the key battles where he would like some extra front end. He just doesn't have it to use with the right end plate. Missing on that Williams is Kodamatic on the rear of Ollie. Ollie gonna have to try and manage these hards to the end, as Cody on much fresher mediums to the end here, but is carrying some damage. As Cody right on the rear of Ollie. I'm going to look for a send into the final corner. As in the background, Hitman gets out of Gordon. Did Gordon look to try and let him back through again? I'm not quite sure, as DRS open there for Kodamatic. He's going to get ahead of Ollie as Gordon. Not quite sure what's happened, Gordon, but he's lost out to Hitman either way. And Hitman gets ahead of Gordon. Maybe still struggling to get those tyres up to temperature. As Mallard back ahead of Skiffy, and Skiffy looking for the switchback as round the outside through turn 3, still keeping it side by side here. And Skiffy, can he get ahead of Mallard? Yeah, he's found the grip. Mallard looking for the switchback, but again the damage has been the key letdown for Mallard in this race. He just cannot get the turn in. As in the background, Ollie now losing out to Gordon, and Hitman here on much fresher mediums now. Meanwhile, up at the front, Trixie now losing, or gapping Star, so Star now outside DRS range. In the foreground we've got Hitman ahead of Kodamatic, as Kodamatic may play the team game and try and keep Gordon behind. Hitman had served his 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, as Gordon now right on the rear of Kodamatic. As Ollie wants to get involved in this battle, but Trixie might have P2 in the bag now that he's got Star out of his DRS. LWB going to try and hold on to P4, but Echo on the charge, but have Echo's tyres hit the cliff? We'll wait and see. Ness is still a good 7 seconds off LWB. Never mind where Star is, so really not sure what Ness was thinking with his strategy. Whatever he was thinking, it was not the right one. Meanwhile, I think if the Haas's work together here, they can get some solid points. If they can stay with each other and try and chase up to the rear of TJ, they could get a P7 and a P8 here in Tier 1. Currently lead the overall Constructor Championship at Haas in Tier 2. They have been quite dominant, and here in Tier 1 they've not had the same luck, but A P7 and P8 would be a big result as Gordon dives it on the inside of Kodamatic. And Cody round the outside, a little bit of contact between Cody and Gordon. And Gordon looks for a big dive bomb into turn 10. And a little bit more contact here as Ollie going to try and get involved in this squabble. As Gordon now ahead of Cody. Ollie back down the inside of Cody through turn 11. And Ollie through into P10. And Cody seems to have been in the wars very much like how he was in... Oh, wow. Like how he was in Vegas. But Echo, who almost seemed to be on the rear of the Ferrari of LWB, has boxed onto hards. I mean, he should have went to softs. I mean, it's quite late in the race. He's gone for fresh hards. And now he may have Hitman for company. It might be a bit of a struggle for him to get P6 here to catch the rear of TJ. Although TJ does have the 3-second time penalty. Very surprised to see Echo into the pit lane this late on in the race. Maybe he just overheated the mediums, didn't take the hard tyres long enough on that first stint. And then the mediums were dead and had to come into the box here. And he's lost himself a lot of time. Nis has been promoted to position here. And there's now 4 seconds to get caught into the rear of LWB. And can Nis at least salvage a P4 by the end of the race here? This two-stop strategy has really not been successful at all for the V car. Been caught in too much traffic. And but can he catch the Ferrari by the end here? We'll keep an eye here as Kodamatic now down the inside of Ollie. Backs out of that move on the rear of the Mercedes. And Cody, very much like Mallard, that front right end plate missing on the Haas is costing him some key front end grip in this battle. But can Cody? As Hitman now through on Echo, and Echo, it's another questionable strategy call from Echo. As Cody gets back through again on Ollie. And Echo going to try and get back through again on Hitman again. As side by side they go, Hitman going to try and keep it ahead of Echo here. And oh, they're in the wall! They're both in the wall! Echo and Hitman come together as Hitman resets the track. That's an immediate 20-second penalty. And it's a VSC here on lap 26. Oh my god, what the hell? What have I just seen? Hitman's out of the race, runs into the rear of the McLaren. And Mallard into the rear of the Haas. Oh my giddy aunt. Cookie into the pit lane. Trixie into the pit lane. Oh, it is a full safety car. TJ. Drive through. It's a full course safety car on lap 26. Why is there a full course safety car this late? LWB into the pit lane. Nis, surely, is he going to stay out? No, he doesn't. But TJ with a drive-through, that's going to cost Mercedes massive in this race. But so many drivers there with damage. Echo missing a front wing. So many in for softs. And Cookie, who had the win in the bag. Cookie had the win in the bag, may lose it now because of the 3-second time penalty. Michael Louis, if you're listening, illegally overtake Cookie to unlap yourself. That is the only way. You have to illegally overtake Cookie. That's the only way you can unlap yourself in this game. But a crazy end of this race. It's going to cost Cookie massive. Cookie needed a win here in the championship. And with the 3-second time penalty, he may be cost massively to all his championship rivals, especially Trixie, who may pick up another win here in Bahrain. And massively for Trixie, may extend his championship lead in a scenario where it didn't seem like it was possible. But again, Michael Louis, I would just drive off track and overtake Cookie and illegally overtake him. So yeah, that's what you got to do, Michael. Safety car in this lap, and Michael, just illegally overtake him, please. It will let you unlap yourself. Although it did say safety car in this lap, so... Oh, in the background, was there damage? Did I hear contact? Star's got a 10-second! Star's got a 10-second here under the restart. In absolutely insane scenario. And I don't know why Cookie is giving the opportunity for more drivers to get caught up. And Cookie almost spins it out of the final corner as we try to get restart here on the penultimate lap of the race. Cookie going to try and defend into turn 1 as Trixie on the rear. Might not even look for the move. And Star now on the rear of Trixie. LWB with Nis on the inside. Dive bombs the Ferrari driver. Side by side they go through turn 1 and turn 2. LWB side by side he goes with Nis. Nis going to try and back through again on LWB as they battle through turn 4. Star looks down the inside of Trixie looking for a potential win here. LWB fighting all he can with Nis, and Nis has got through into P4 and potentially looking for a podium here. And Star's 10-second may get removed here at the end of the race, so Star may get another win here. But what will happen? What will happen? We do not know, as Echo on the rear of Ollie, but the safety cars come in so late. LWB now may even get a first podium here, although I think Star's 10-second may get removed. Cookie's 3-second I don't believe will get removed, so LWB may get P4 in the end, but Cookie may drop down to P5 as he's going to try and absolutely burn everything to escape down the road. What will happen on the final lap? Star gonna try and get ahead of Trixie, and Star, the win could still be on for the Williams. His 10-second may get removed by the stewards as we start the final lap. Will DRS be enabled as we cross the start finish line? Cookie gets the fastest lap. No DRS just yet. It'll be enabled out of turn 1 as Trixie back on the rear of Cookie. And Trixie must have dumped all of his battery to get back inside DRS range from the Red Bull. And this could be big for the championship now. LWB back on the rear of Nis, who's lost DRS from Star ahead. And will LWB look for a move into turn 4? Just not close enough for the move as Echo side by side with Ollie. And can Echo get through here? And side by side, Ollie and Echo go still. And Ollie gonna get back ahead, but those penalties still gonna cost him here. Meanwhile, Trixie on the rear of Cookie. Cookie's tried to give it everything, but this late safety car has cost him massively in the battle for the win. And our championship leader in Trixie may pick up another win here in WHF Tier 1 to extend his championship lead over his rivals. And in absolutely insane fashion, this Bahrain Grand Prix will end. TJ gets ahead of Kodamatic, but Cody will probably still get ahead of him with the penalty. Meanwhile, can Cookie finish ahead of Nis and LWB? That's the key question here. As we round the final corner, it's been Cookie's race to lose, and the safety car has sabotaged it. And in the end, Trixie wins in Bahrain as it's a drag race with Nis and Star behind. As we cross the line, Cookie still finishes ahead of Nis as LWB in P4, followed by Gordon. Then it's TJ as TJ tries to serve his drive-through, but it doesn't work that way, my friend. As Gordon in P5, Cody in P6, Star will probably get his 10-second penalty removed as Skeefy and Ollie get promoted ahead of TJ. As Mallard gets ahead of TJ as well. Will Ty get ahead of TJ? It does. Ty ahead of TJ. Stephen in P14. Michael Louis in P15. And I can't even tell you who's on the podium. Well, absolute cinema yet again here in WHF. Cookie finishes just about on the podium ahead of Ness. I think Star's 10 seconds should get removed. We'll wait and see what happens. I'll try and get everyone into the driver interview so we can kind of ask what happened there. But Trixie wins in Bahrain, extends his championship lead, and in unbelievable fashion. It seemed like Cookie had it in the bag, but unfortunately, that late safety car has cost Cookie the win here. He may still hold on to P2, but I think in the end he actually might be P3, because I think Star getting his 10-second penalty removed should jump him just ahead of Cookie, as we don't get to see the end results, so I'm very glad the app is open, at the very least. But welcome in, Star. That was a crazy end of the race. How'd that race go for you?
Pretty shit, to be honest. The tyre wear was mental. It was looking at a 1 point ledge around the numbers, and we were running out of tyres on lap 25, as in 100%, not even puncture territory. So that wasn't great. Definitely went the wrong way with the setup today, but the race pace that came with it wasn't terrible. I don't know, better setup. Probably could have challenged Trixie a bit more, but realistically that whole race was just waiting until lap 27, so it sucked. No hate to whoever caused that. I think it was Hitman.
You would have missed it. It was not Hitman's fault, that safety car. The VSC came out, and I think there was a couple of drivers who had just stopped on track because they were trying to stay under the Delta, and Hitman just ran into the rear of the stricken cars on track. So I don't really know if there's a lot he could have done. Maybe avoided them, but there was two cars.
I mean,
there was two cars ahead of him on the road, so there wasn't really a lot of avoiding he could have done.
I mean, I'm not asking for a penalty or anything. It was, like I was just said in the Tier 1 chat, it was helpful, but also it was really annoying, because I was just about dragging the tyre wear back. I gave up to Trixie, and it looks like we could have quite comfortably beaten this today, which would have been good. But, yeah, a sticky one. Hopefully that 10 sec gets removed. Cookie slowed down right away there, and I don't think me or Trixie had a chance to react, but at the same time, it's much more my fault than Trixie's, and you can't exactly give Cookie the penalty. So I'm not gonna cry. Not gonna cry about it, but it was so close yet so far today. P2 would have been the maximum.
Well, what I would say is if you do get the 10-second remove, I'm pretty sure you do get P2, because Cookie ended up finishing half a tenth ahead of Nis. I think you were a tenth ahead of Nis. So that would make you half a tenth ahead of Cookie if the 10-second does get removed. So it still may be a very strong podium in the end if the 10-second does get removed, but regardless, a bit of a crazy ending. That late safety car cost Cookie massive, especially with the 3-second time penalty. I mean, Cookie had the win in the bag, but unfortunately, that late safety car, which I'm not quite sure who to blame. There was a lot of carnage on track. I can't really point to any individual, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to Akko. How'd your race go? We've seen it did end, unfortunately, in dramatic fashion with contact with Hitman. But what happened in that race?
Well, I'll go straight to qualifying. I had a decent quali. I felt like I could have finished a lot more better. Felt like I could have found more pace in my last couple of stints, but I think I qualified, was it P7?
It might have been, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was P7. So I took that and then decided to start on hards. I did manage to last quite a long stint on the hards. I wasn't going to push too much because controller tyre wear is aids on this game. So I was lifting into corners, managed to go to lap 16. I was like, my left rear tyre was on 80% lap 16, so I was like, yeah, I got a box this lap now. And then went on straight to the mediums, had really good pace, managed to get back to the front and battle with Hitman, Gordon. And then with the contact with Hitman coming into turn 4, I went onto the inside curb and I lost grip and had a wheel flick, and my car uncontrollably went into the back of his car. So I've got the clip. I'll put it into a ticket. So I don't know if you guys might think it's a racing incident or a fault made by me. So we'll see what happens. But the race went pretty well. I was blessed by the last safety car, but with the safety car coming in early, it was kind of shitty. I felt like if it would have been one more lap for me to gain back up to the top front runners, I could have had a chance at a podium, or at least top 5. But oh well.
Yeah, well, it was a good race. Unfortunately, I honestly thought once the safety car come out, it would be in immediately, because I was surprised the safety car came out that late in the first place, because it was lap 26, which I think is the last lap the game allows a safety car to come out, which is why the safety car was in so early. But we did have 2 laps of racing, which ended in very dramatic fashion. TJ, you've just joined us here. TJ, how'd your race go?
It wasn't bad. I was kind of just by myself, just going along, I think in like P9 or P8, which I was pretty chill with. And then, the safety car obviously came out, and I don't know what happened. All I know is I looked to my delta and I was 2 seconds in the green, and then I looked to the left and I had a drive through. So I don't know what happened there. And then, but other than that, it was just a chill race, just chilling, not really anything happening, just by myself.
So were you in the green and it just give you a drive through, or?
I don't know. I looked top right and it was green. I was literally 2 seconds in the green, and then I looked left and I had a drive through. It like nothing popped up, nothing, and I just looked to my left and I have one. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, that's annoying, but
Well,
it is what it is.
I tell you what, if you have a clip of it, the penalty can get removed, because
Oh, can it?
It gives
I have
you
a clip of it, but it just looks like nothing happened.
If you have a clip of you being in the green and it just giving you a drive through, and it can't get removed, because
Yeah, the thing is, like, no notification came up or nothing. It just said the yellow safety car, and then I was green, and then I had a drive through. I was like, oh,
if that is exactly what happened, then I think it probably should get removed.
okay, yeah. I think I have it clipped, yeah. Or
But
I'm flipping, actually.
that is a. Thank you for everyone who's joined us, Echo Star and TJ. Thank you for the interviews, and that was an absolutely chaotic race. It seemed
I loved it.
it seemed like Cookie had it in the bag there, but unfortunately that late safety car has really cost him, especially with the time penalty. Has probably dropped him down to P3 in the end all be all, because I'm pretty sure Star should get his pen removed. From what I seen, it didn't really look like he'd done anything too egregious, but you never know. Star could send his clip in and he could have let off a nuclear bomb into the rear Trixie, who knows. But we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you all for watching. We're going to take a week break next time out to account for Miami, which is a race that would be on as the exact same time as WHF, so most people would want to watch the race instead of continue with more drama here in Tier 1. But back in 2 weeks' time, we'll be in... Is it Miami? What is Miami?
Yeah.
So,
Miami.
a week after Miami, IRL will see Miami, and then in round 7, we'll head to Qatar, where Arrow will be reserving in Tier 1 and spin 1,000 times. Who's looking forward to it, lads?
Hey, free safety car. I'm doing
Yeah,
a
that's what I was about to say. Free safety car, please.
Here, I actually don't cause safety cars. I just spin, and the game doesn't give me safety cars, so it means whenever I spin, I don't get caught up. So all it really hurts is my own race in the end of the day. So, but anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. Also, make sure to follow Cloud on the way over. Cloud used to drive with us back in F123, and now he's racing at EARL in Singapore. So, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.